In the vast realm of RPGs, you have your set styles. You have Japanese RPGs like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, or Chrono Trigger. You have your action or hack-and-slash RPGs like Kingdom Hearts or the Mana series. And then there's your massively open-world RPGs like Warcraft or the Elder Scrolls. 20 years ago, Bethesda put out the first of the Elder Scrolls games on DOS-enabled computers. The game, much as is the case in later installments, gave us the epic fantasy open-world style of play we've come to expect from this franchise. Long considered a staple of PC gaming, recent releases on the major consoles have created legions of new fans. Now Bethesda is taking the Elder Scrolls to the internet and shows no signs of bringing this iconic franchise to an end. We celebrate 20 years of the Elder Scrolls on this episode of Downloadable Content. Downloadable Content. I'm Brian, and once again we have Ron.
Sorry, my mic muted. Hi, everyone.
This is off and running smoothly.
Oh, we get shit like this all the time.
This is a standard operating procedure. Someone is always late. Someone always forgets to unmute their mic.
Yes.
Someone loses their internet connection.
Mike, welcome back for your second episode.
Yes.
And we bring some more fresh meat to Season 4. We have Maggie.
Hello. I like it when you call me fresh meat.
We're not even 2 minutes in yet, and the innuendos are already beginning. This episode's going to get off to a rip-roaring start.
I predict this will be your most popular episode.
I think my record for number of downloads on a single episode is somewhere near 500. But if the sexual tension ramps up over the next 90 minutes or so, we could see a record. I might actually have to throw on the explicit filter when I upload this to iTunes if this keeps up. So, and this is a special milestone for downloadable content. This is Ron's 50th episode.
Yeah, wow. I believe I'm far and away in second, and the only person that has more than me is the actual host of the show. So
okay, so that's like good. I think we're almost at 70 at this point. So
yeah,
but still, you are the reigning leading panelist at 50 episodes. So congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to send you like a commemorative pen or something.
Yeah, that'll work. How about I don't know, paying for the insecticide bill on my closet also work too.
Yep. Yes. Maybe a complimentary like flash drive or something.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go. So, but seriously though, thank you, Ron, for being on so many episodes. I'm glad that you enjoy doing these. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't have been on so many of them.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I've always been interested in podcasts in general, and just being able to do, and like I would consider myself a very big video game person, considering I've been playing pretty much my entire life in one fashion or another. So being able to actually talk about this stuff is pretty cool.
And I'm glad you enjoy doing. I'm glad everybody who comes on to Downloadable Content enjoys doing these. So, well done, and hopefully you'll be on for at least 50 more.
At least, hopefully.
At least, because I don't have any plans of stopping, at least not at this particular moment. So, if you want to jump on and congratulate Ron on the internet, you can get a hold of us at facebook.com/DLContent, Twitter at DLContent, Tumblr dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, or email dlcontent1@gmail.com, and all episodes can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. So, but yes, we are going to talk the Elder Scrolls in this episode. It's another one of our anniversary episodes this season. 20 years of massive open world gaming, and it all started on a DOS machine. And, floppy disks and whatnot.
Like 12 of them.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Given doing the research for this episode and seeing how big each game was, I'm like, oh god, especially in the early PC days, how many floppies you needed.
It was many. It was many.
I bet. We move into the Elder Scrolls, and yes, Bethesda is the responsible party here. Not unlike, the last episode where, it was Konami with Silent Hill, and then, then Konami said, yeah, somebody else do this. We'll just publish it. So, be that.
Maybe that's when it goes downhill.
It's definitely possible. It does. So, we begin back in 1994, back when I was 9. With Elder Scrolls 1 Arena, which initially, when I was looking this up, it was not meant. Bethesda has come right out and said that the first Elder Scrolls game was not meant to be an RPG. It was meant to be some sort of like grand fighting arena, hence the title, but it kind of morphed into this open world clusterfuck that it became. So it was released for DOS platforms in 94, and the game is set in the world of Tamriel, which I think is every game.
Yes.
I think it's all set on the same, so...
That's the world.
That's the one.
That's our world.
Where I prefer to live.
With Emperor Uriel Septim VII trapped in another dimension. But apparently, as history would tell us, this game was meant to be released at Christmas of 93, but it didn't happen, and it ended up getting released in spring of 94, and a lot of, with only limited release, and the whole launch was botched, but yet still managed to become a cult hit. I have never played the first Elder Scrolls game, so I don't know if any of you have.
Nope, sorry.
Nope.
I have.
I know it got a re-release later on, but what do you remember of it?
I remember that my grandmother passed away in 1995, and we got her computer, and it had 2 games on it, or it came with 2 games. One of which was like, I want to say some kind of pirate game, and the other one was Arena. Elder Scrolls Arena. So I don't know what my grandmother was doing with Elder Scrolls Arena, but it was an unplayable, glitchy DOS game. As much as any DOS game of the time, with next to indecipherable graphics. But for 9-year-old Mike, it was. I mean, the Elder Scrolls. Tagline is "Live another life in another world," and I definitely sunk a lot of hours into that.
I took a look at this, the graphics of this game, before we started recording, and the first thing I thought of was another high school friend of mine, Alex Crowell, who made a game in high school called Parody Paradise, which was basically a horrible looking Duke Nukem / Dune clone. And I looked at the graphics of this game and I'm like, obviously this was 94, so you're not going to get anything impressive. I mean, 1994, although I do remember Myst wasn't that far off.
No, it wasn't.
And that was beautiful, but...
The graphics were bad even for the time.
Yes. It was, but... It's still, it took a lot of resources, but yet it still managed to get enough of a following and made enough to warrant, the next game. We'll get to shortly, Daggerfall.
Well, like the thing with Arena was that it was new to anybody who had never played like Dungeons and Dragons or any of those text-based games where you're free to go and do what you want. I mean, obviously the size is not nearly as big as, the Elder Scrolls games you would get later, but it does give you some flexibility in the way you want to approach things and in what order. So that was really a new thing. I mean, at the time, it seemed new.
Well, also, I mean, just the fact that computers used to ship with games gave it a much wider audience than I think it would have otherwise had.
I don't know if Elder Scrolls shipped with any computers.
So I thought you had, so it was a...
My grandmother had it, I don't know how she got
Well,
it.
I remember in 1995 getting a computer and it came with a book of CDs, like a set of software.
Usually back then, like, they came with them, but they're usually the very simple, like, Tetris and some sort of learning game for the kids, because people were usually buying these for the kids, because they thought, well, they can do their papers on it for schoolwork and not have to pull out the typewriter from grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Speak for yourself. When I had to write reports in middle school and high school, when my teachers started demanding reports being typed, my stepfather was that asshole who had a computer and was like, "No, pretend your teacher doesn't know you don't have a computer. Here's a typewriter."
Nice.
And so, be that as it may, it was, looking at the game itself, apparently one of the points of negative criticism was that the game was very unforgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Have you played any games made before, like, 2001?
I was gonna say, I'm like, dude, we grew up on, like, the NES.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
No, Mario Brothers is too hard.
I mean, like, I don't know for certain, but I could understand if they thought it was unfair because if it was something like, was there something like that, or where, like, it's such an RNG type thing, and if you don't get, like, the good rolls in a particular sequence, or worst case scenario, you get a bunch of bad rolls and you just take a bunch of damage for no reason whatsoever, then maybe that was unfair that way because of, like, I have to imagine, like, looking at RNG tables back in 1994, they're not that RNG, actually.
Well, the problem is, one of the problems is they really pulled, like Brian said, it wasn't originally intended to be an RPG, and they really pulled the leveling system out of, like, nowhere, and it has some serious flaws with it that persist to this day. Like, when you get to a certain level in your three important skills, you can't level up again because
your skills are all maxed. But in Skyrim, they let you reset that with the legendary, so they kind of.
But that was part of a DLC or a patch. I think it wasn't like that when it came out.
Oh yeah, it was later.
It was a patch.
Yeah, and that is a big problem with the game. The basic leveling system is that.
When you get to an end game stage, and if you want to continue playing that character.
But what I'm saying is, like, if your sword is at 99 and your alchemy is at 99 and your sneak's at 99, but, like, your magic is at 20, you're never going to get it any higher.
Yeah. That's definitely a criticism I have with the series because, it is one that's carried through because I remember that being in, like, Morrowind and, Oblivion, where it's like you have these like 4 or 5 different skills that you can level up really freaking easily because they're the ones that you use all the time.
Whatever you set as your preferred stats.
Yep. And the moment you try and level up something else, it takes forever.
Well, you can take perks and stuff to, at the beginning.
Not back then.
Yeah, not back then.
You were just out of luck.
And Morrowind specifically, I don't want to jump the gun, but that has a great set of, like, exploits within the game.
They all do.
Like the potions, the water walking potions or whatever.
The old, put a little stick of incense in your controller joystick so your guy is constantly walking forward and you just crouch him and put him in a corner.
To up your sneak.
You leave, you come back.
With a sleeping person?
Yeah, you leave, you come back, your sneak's gone up 50 times.
They all have various exploits like that.
a game like that, as wide as that, without any exploits?
I know, it's unthinkable.
I know, I mean, really, it's... But, this game, 1994, what was I playing? I was playing Donkey Kong Country. So,
yeah.
1994, my family was, PCs are not meant for gaming. And, well, again, my parents were, video games will rot your brain. So, with Arena, now in the books, we moved to the second, obviously, Daggerfall, released in 1996 for, MS-DOS again. And this, the world of Daggerfall was, according to the research I found, was immense.
Yeah, it's the biggest. It's still the largest landmass that they've created to date. But it was procedurally generated, and there was a lot of nothing in between towns.
That's what I gathered. Even though there was something on the order of over 15,000 towns and dungeons and cities.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the towns were just copy and pasted.
Yes, that I found out. I found that out, and that was one of the huge criticisms, that there was, despite the open world, incredible monotony.
Mm-hmm. Without fast travel, the game is unplayable, I think. I recall reading something online that said to actually walk from one end of the map would take over a day or something, So, in real time.
So, with that, apparently also the game has 6 endings.
I could never get the good one. Never. I never got it.
We're back to that problem again.
Yeah, right?
We're back to that problem. So what happened? Once you completed the main quest, that was actually the end of the game?
If I remember correctly, it was that the Emperor wasn't really the Emperor. It was some kind of sorcerer. And you had to get... they kind of do this again in Morrowind, but you can't mess it up. You had to get, certain pieces, certain weapons to and certain items to free the Emperor and reveal the treachery. And if you didn't do it in the right order, in the right amount of time, you got a nasty screen that said in Morrowind, I believe they reused it, the Wheel of Fate has been broken or whatever, and, the world, you can't win, but you can still play.
Okay. And
it was something.
Apparently, one of the big changes between Arena and Daggerfall, they got rid of experience points and replaced it with one that rewarded the player for actually role-playing their character.
Yep.
Which kind of reminds me a bit of something that Final Fantasy II pulled, where they got rid of experience points and you leveled up your stats based on what the game felt you needed.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, it led to the problem in Final Fantasy II, where in order to increase your HP, you would constantly have to have your party near death, so that you would fool the game into thinking, oh, they're constantly getting their asses handed to with each battle. Let's give them more HP. I don't know if that worked a similar way with Daggerfall, but
I think it's. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's similar to how their leveling system is now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because I know, in Skyrim, you level up stuff based on how often you use a particular tactic.
That's pretty much I'm pretty sure that they nailed that formula down in Morrowind, by and large. But I think they first implemented it in Daggerfall. To obviously, it might as well have been you're beta testing this system, and there's some good things, there are some bad things, and I just gotta figure out how you fix the bad and not ruin the good.
Obviously they improved the character creation engine, and this game, how it was not a disastrous launch, unlike the first one.
It's got really awesome cover too.
I'm looking at it. It looks like a D&D book cover.
Yeah, it does. It's a lich.
Was this game also really popular?
Yes, more so than the first. It sold more, and with Bethesda claiming that the game world was the size of Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if they allowed the use of mods if we had gotten mods yet for.
No, I don't think.
No, not yet.
The closest we had was those Doom 2 things. I forget what they're called. It's gonna love.
The Doom 2 features or things you could use. You can correct me if I'm wrong in this, but when they eventually updated the lore of the game in Morrowind and Oblivion, didn't they basically say the reason for Daggerfall being so similar in terms of like vast open plains of nothingness is because it's basically in like one gigantic bog?
Yeah, it's a swamp. It's a swamp country that basically. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
and basically just like imagine that a country the size of Great Britain, only one gigantic swamp.
Well, the thing is that the world, you have access to the entire world, the continent of Tamriel, and I mean, you can go to Cyrodiil, you can go to Skyrim, but everything you're supposed to do is kind of like, in one place.
Yeah.
They could have just blamed it on, like being in some Daedric god's dream or something, nightmare.
It's just the monotony. It got really repetitive to the point where it was, a chore sometimes.
It kind of sounds like a very mild version of hell, honestly, when you describe it.
Just walking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what fresh hell is this?
Yeah, you walk from one town and you come up to a town, you're like, thank God, and then it's filled with the same
it's
NPCs.
The same town.
It sounds like that's for the Twilight Zone more than anything else.
I'm going in circles! Yeah, I'm going in circles. Ah! So after Daggerfall, we would get to the first Elder Scrolls game that I actually heard of.
The first that most people
have heard of, and Maggie is already getting wet from it.
Yes, all the time.
She's already preemptively moist for Morrowind. It would take 6 years, though, between games. It was released May 2002 for Windows, and then it came out a month later for the Xbox. So the first one that would get a console release.
The most ridiculous cheat ever, where if you just held the white or the black button on the Xbox controller, I think your guy regenerated stamina or health automatically, which is kind of weird because it's not really a code; it's just the recharge health button.
I don't even remember that.
Yep.
So this particular game, obviously, as is the case with all the Elder Scrolls games, it kept the same massively open world format. However, it was the total area was smaller than Daggerfall, which included more detailed and unique cities, and also apparently had a very extensive main quest, but you're not necessarily bound to it.
This is probably the first.
That's kind of problem with Elder Scrolls games in general. I think I don't know if it's really a problem because I've played Morrowind, I've played Oblivion, and I've played Skyrim, and I've devoted hundreds of hours of my life to each of these games, and I've only beaten one of them, which is Oblivion. I've only technically beaten the main quest of one of them.
Yeah,
that just opens up a whole world of Fellowship of the Ring memes. One does not simply finish insert Elder Scrolls game here.
Yes.
Yes, basically. I mean, it's both a blessing and the curse in the sense that, you're, basically with, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, once you get past you're a new player, but I've already played the series 5 billion times. No, I don't care. You're a new player. You must go through the new player quests.
And it's just oh.
Yes. Yeah. Once you get through the new player area and you have the whole world open to you, they mean the whole world is open to you.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get one of my friends into Morrowind shortly after it came out, and he simply just couldn't understand the game. He had lost the package you're supposed to give to Chaos Casadas.
Yeah.
He had wandered off to
you can really easily fuck yourself over in Morrowind with the main quest.
Yeah,
if you lose the Dwemer puzzle box that you got to give to him, I did that in one of my. I think that's what happened in my main playthrough. I didn't progress any further because I lost that puzzle cube after I got it.
Or if you lock a house and you lose the key.
Or you kill one of the important NPCs.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that if you can do almost whatever you want, But if you want to actually like once you get your Uber gear and go back to the story, if you don't know where you put the said NPC or where you drop the MacGuffin, you're screwed.
Yeah, once you go over to Caldera through the Mages Guild and pick up your free set of Mastered Alchemist tools. You know about that, right?
Steel.
Yeah.
Just gotta.
There's just this Grandmaster
level
set of mortar and pestle
at the top of this tower that nobody's guarding.
Nobody's guarding it.
It's great.
Why do I sense that this game has like a series of unfortunate events vibe about it?
Well,
it kind of does. Like, you played Fallout, right?
I have, yes.
Yes.
So imagine, remember walking through Fallout and like you're exploring and all of a sudden you see the I forget what they're called, but the really fast guys that are melee but like can rip you apart in like 2 hits.
Oh yes.
Yes, not the mutants, but like I forget what they're called in Fallout series, but like the night crawlers or something like that.
Oh, the Nightkin.
Nightkin, yeah, basically similar things happen in Morrowind. Like you just go exploring, you're level 1, and you'll accidentally stumble into like a level 30 area and just get your ass handed.
Or if you trigger that in Morrowind, if you trigger that assassin's guild too early, you can't because it just kills you.
Yeah, you'll wake up in bed, and there'll be just an assassin in your room who's like 10, 15 levels higher than you are.
And if that happens when you're like a level 3, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But it's a great game.
But it's a great game.
But it is a great game.
Like I said, months of my life.
Yeah.
And this is the first game in the series to be composed by Jeremy Soule, who has become the de facto composer for the Elder Scrolls, and with good reason. I can just sit down and relax to the Skyrim soundtrack. He does a really, really good job.
It makes great background music for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes!
Yeah, Morrowind too.
Yes.
Great.
Whatever your poison is in the pen and paper department.
Yes. And again, because this was the first for a console, it was the first time I had ever heard of the Elder Scrolls, because up until recently, I was just a straight console gamer. But back, my typical preference for RPGs is I typically play like JRPGs. That's my typical type of game. So I had it was only Skyrim, which we'll get to in the second half, which was my very first open world of that caliber. So I can only imagine the amount of hours that everyone has sunk out of their lives.
Oh yeah.
Especially with a game in which completing the main quest is optional.
Well, it's like that Morrowind is just... It still hasn't been reached in any other Elder Scrolls game in its level of depth, and that, you might play as a Dark Elf, and you might join their... whatever that religion is, and you go to the temple, and you do the initiation path, and, it's totally this... Or you can join the...
the level of immersion in Morrowind is... I played many games, many RPGs. The level of immersion in Morrowind, I have yet to see replicated in another game.
Even with their games.
Not even an MMO.
Yeah, not even an MMO, not even in their own games that are supposed to be better. It's definitely one of the...
But honestly, I totally agree with you, and Mike can, everybody can find their own thing. If you like open world RPGs, you can have your own completely different experience in Morrowind than somebody else would. And something that I would do that I don't know if anybody else here would do is I would just read all the books in the game, I would read all the lore, and I'd also just talk to people. I'd go up to townspeople and talk to them about everything, and update my journal, and just...
The amount of lore the amount of lore they put in the game too is insane, considering that almost all of it is completely optional, and that to only learn about the world itself, you have to actually read the books and find them.
Yeah.
And more often than not, the books themselves are just worth maybe 2 copper, or you get lucky and find a really rare one that's worth a gold piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
what's funny about it is that just if you want
like a real universe.
But if you want to see just like the sheer amount of content in the game, you can fire up Morrowind on a computer, and with the tilde key, there's a cheat code to automatically put everything in your journal. And after you enter the cheat code, it takes like 5 minutes for your computer to, the game
to process everything. Yeah.
Well, you can also use that to give yourself like the skeleton key.
Well, I'm just trying to illustrate the amount of it just sits there and this is going to take 5 minutes.
Just drop,
Yeah. Go ahead and make yourself a cup of coffee. Use the washroom. You're gonna be here. You're gonna after I finish loading this literal Bible onto your game. You're gonna be here for a while.
And then you can read it.
Well, that'll happen.
Such a deep place in my heart this game holds. This is probably this vies for top game spot for me, Morrowind.
It doesn't even take place in Morrowind.
Along with Coder.
It doesn't even take place in Morrowind though. It takes place on Vardenfell, the island of Vardenfell.
I'll say it's an island off the coast of Morrowind, is it not?
Yeah.
It doesn't even take place on the mainland.
And then all the alien cities they had, all the the dwarven cities are so cool. With all those were the coolest traps and level designs.
Oh yeah, those things. In the Dwemer ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also did that. They did that. Obviously. What was the name of the little island expansion?
There were two. There were Tribunal and Blood Moon.
Yeah, Blood Moon especially. I will also be crass here and say my panties got pretty damn wet when I found out that they were releasing that, recreating that in Skyrim. So, I ran around basically for days, just saying, I was seeing, there's Scythe Crow. I love alchemy in that game, so just seeing the same plants from Morrowind in Skyrim, I can't even tell you.
And Maggie came everywhere. That it's just all over at that point. Also, I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys played the Xbox version. I don't know if there was anything an improvement or difference in quality between the PC.
The load times were improved to be longer.
Yeah, well, the load times are improved. If by improved you mean they're worse, then yeah, sure, they're improved.
I mean, I could only imagine that a game of that scope on the original Xbox would have caused the Xbox to just die from emphysema or something.
Oh, it would chug. You could, you'd hear that. It starts to sound like an airplane.
Boy.
Like, oh crap. You put your hand on it, it's like friggin' a stove,
It's like, calm down, Xbox, it's okay.
Is it supposed to make that noise?
No, it's not supposed to make that noise.
It's like, no, just calm down.
Alright, get ready to plunk down another $100 for a new arcade.
No, this was Xbox One, dude.
This was the first one.
This was the
360 makes even worse noises.
When I say Xbox One, I mean the original Xbox, not Xbone, or whatever you call it.
I actually, just for my own ease of mind and reference, I just call it Xbox 3.
Yeah, well, literally any other name would have been good, but let's not ignite any kind of flame wars here.
Oh, that's okay. That's quite all right.
They could have literally called it anything else.
But they didn't.
Even 720.
It sounds better.
Yes! Yes, I agree. But
even that.
But, I have, what were the expansions like? I mean, I see here that we have Tribunal and Blood Moon.
Just so great.
What did they add?
In the original game, you could turn into a vampire, and you could join specific vampire families that had different agendas and shit. And in Blood Moon, added in began the love obsession with the Nords. And you got all your lore about Skyrim and the Witch Queen and all that.
New craftables.
You could turn into a werewolf now. Tribunal had more of a political intrigue kind of vibe to it. You actually went to the mainland and got involved in some
It was a city that you transported to that had a massive series of dwarven ruins below it.
It also had the Dark Brotherhood's headquarters in the sewers where you could get the greatest armor and then sell it and then get more.
And get, because the guys would just keep spawning. So that would be an easy way to make money because you just sell those suits of armor, and regardless, of how good your bartering is, they're going to give you a lot of money for it.
Ah, okay.
No, that's... The expansions are really good. I think they do a really fantastic job. Even if they don't do a lot of expansions, they put a lot of effort and content and originality in it.
I'm going to bring that up again later because I actually kind of disagree with you about that. But one thing I did want to say was that one thing that I miss about Morrowind and was that when you sold people armor, like if it was better than what they were wearing, they would equip it.
And you could sell them like 2 different pauldrons, so they would look funny.
Oh, that was always great too in Morrowind. You could have 2 different
you can mix the 2 sets. You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
Oh, that must have meant for a lot of funny-looking characters. I'm wearing one boot, one type, another. But no riveting lines like "I took an arrow to the knee." But
no.
That's never say that again.
Never link those 2 together again. Okay, fine, I won't.
It was done to death. It was funny the first 5 minutes.
500,000 times you heard it.
Yeah, and how many different pictures can you shop?
Yeah,
like
an arrow in the knee.
I don't know.
So before we cut to the half, I want to mention a couple of the 1 or 2 of the spin-offs. There weren't all that many for the Elder Scrolls. The first one being Battlespire.
Oh my god, yeah, I totally forgot about that game.
Battlespire, which came out in 1997, PC only, MS-DOS.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever played that one. I don't think so.
Apparently, it's, again, still keeping with the, open world everything as is standard procedure. According to, I had never even heard of this, so I'm just reading off the Wikipedia now. Apparently in this game, the player takes the role of an apprentice who, on the day of his final test, discovers that an army of Daedra, led by Mehrunes Dagon, has invaded and killed... Daedra, thank you. Has invaded and killed nearly everyone. On top of that, his partner is being held captive. Over the course of 7 levels, the player must travel through various realms of Oblivion to reach Dagon, defeat him, and escape back to Tamriel.
I would like to point out that when I searched for Battlespire on Google, the very first thing that came up was a picture of a naked lady kneeling on the ground.
Character creator.
Were you doing an image search?
No, no, I just, I did Battlespire, and then there's
Google
images from Battlespire.
And there's titties, so you want to find out more.
There's titties. If anyone listening Googles Battlespire.
If you Google...
Not that there's any shortage of those on the internet.
If you Google Battlespire porn, that's the fine... that's the very fine information you will get on downloadable content right here on this very fine, sophisticated program.
Well, there's really you want to go into something else. Then let's talk about the mods for Oblivion and like how many different kinds of naked mods and larger-breasted character models that people created.
This dude's hanging dong in this picture.
I looked at, and it looked like Morrowind was the first of the Elder Scrolls games to actually have the ability to mod.
Yeah.
It came with the construction kit.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And when you bought it on the PC, I mean, obviously
on
not
the
on
PC.
Xbox. It came with the Elder Scrolls construction kit, and you could make your own mods. It's
standard.
Yeah, and it was so easy to not to make them, but to utilize them and import them was like a piece of cake. You didn't have to have any real computing knowledge to do it.
I actually think that's pretty cool that the developer lets you do that. It
was on another disc, just like now Fallout comes with the GEC, and they come with the construction kit. That was the first time that I think anybody had really done something that open. I mean, I know there's a lot of developers that support, modders, but Bethesda came right out with it. Just gave
They
you
just
all the
gave you
tools
the
you need.
toolkit that they use.
That's really generous of a video game developer to do that, because most developers wouldn't even want anyone in. No, piracy, blah 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 bullshit.
I wonder if it's really generous, or if they're just trying to cement their fan base and get more people to like it.
Both.
You know.
Why can't it be both?
Yeah.
I can be both. I can be both. So, alrighty, well, we have gone pretty well on this first half, so on our second half, we will talk about, obviously, Oblivion and Skyrim, and a few more of the spin-offs, because I'm sure we will have plenty to say on the two most recent ones. We'll also talk about Elder Scrolls Online, and we'll see where that takes us. So, you are listening to our 20th anniversary episode talking about the Elder Scrolls. We'll be back! Welcome back to Downloadable Content, talking about the Elder Scrolls. None of us have gone away to quest and become yet our 7th or 8th Dragonborn. Or
Not
more.
yet, at least.
Or more.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So, we pick up the discussion where we leave off. We are going to move into the 4th major Elder Scrolls game, and that is Oblivion.
Elder Scrolls Star-Studded Edition.
Yeah, I would suspect for by and large, this is where most people got their introduction to the Elder Scrolls series.
Mm-hmm.
This came out March 2006 for Windows and Xbox 360, and it released exactly 1 year later for PlayStation 3.
Oh, I remember. I remember the day it came out.
Were you at GameStop at this point?
No, I was actually going to RCC at the time. Like you do. Local community college, for those of you who don't live in our tiny town. And I skipped school, like I was prone to do, and spent the day playing Skyrim. Rather Oblivion. Weeks, really. Months.
Years.
We would fight for it.
Years. Decades.
And on and on and on.
watch each other play.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. We would like we'd have to have like a timer. You'd be like, "It's my turn to play."
Well, I can't even remember. Like, I start one game and I stick with it. You like to try out a bunch of different characters.
Yeah,
so
well, I need to.
But how many times did you play that fucking Escape from the Prison?
Not that many, because I saved right before I left.
Oh yeah.
The sewers.
Because then you finalize the characters and you can change them.
See? Yeah, use the old noggin.
But you did do it a bunch of times before you figured that out.
Yeah. Thanks, Max.
Did you have to work that into some sort of written contract? Like, you are only allowed to play X amount of hours of Oblivion per day?
I probably got the better half of the deal.
Yeah, you probably did.
Being female, you know.
But it was, that game was awesome. I mean,
it's great. Patrick Stewart. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Patrick.
He was in the game for all 5 minutes, though.
I know.
But apparently he made the game.
Well, it would be way too classy if he was in more of it. Come on.
Well, you know who else was in it? Sean Bean, so he died within the first 30 seconds.
Lots of times. You got that badass sword off his body, right? What was it? The katana.
Yeah, the Ironborn katana, or whatever that's called.
Then you had to give it back, didn't you?
Yes, you have to give it back if he didn't die.
Yeah. But Brian, you haven't played this one either?
I have not.
You played Oblivion?
Why not?
Because I joined in the Elder Scrolls madness with Skyrim.
You stop recording this right now.
And we're going to turn this podcast around and everyone's going to go to bed without porn.
No, seriously, if
I do want to play it. I do want to pick it up and get it.
And there are a lot of mods for ridiculous-looking female characters if you're into them.
Which implies that you are?
If.
Well, I mean,
one
of my favorite mods for Left 4 Dead 2 is the Raptors. You can play as Raptors, so, but that's beside the point.
I don't know. I mean, you have the, then you have, like, the Thomas the Tank Engine mod in Skyrim, but,
Yep. Also, the mod that turns the dragons into flying Macho Man Randy Savages.
But, Oblivion, apparently, I heard that you start the game off the same way you start off in Skyrim as a prisoner.
Yeah. You quite literally are a prisoner in a jail cell, and you're just kind of left there being like, okay, what the fuck's going on? And then
all hell breaks loose.
No, and then
okay.
that happens 5 minutes later. The king comes down and says, "You're going to save the kingdom. I don't know how. I just know you are." And you're like, "Okay." And then he whispers to you, "Oh, by the way, I'm dying in 5 minutes."
This king will self-destruct.
yeah, basically.
This king will self-destruct.
Yeah, no, he walks in, he goes, "Hi, I'm the Emperor. You're gonna save the day. I'm gonna die.
Let's do this.
Goodbye."
I'm Patrick Stewart.
I'm Patrick Stewart.
So,
Engage.
He's like, I'm going to do the Picard maneuver in this game. It's
Yeah, and it just so happened that because of some dumb luck or twist of fate, the guards for the Emperor are trying to escort him out of a secret escape hatch, basically, and the escape hatch is 2 feet to your right.
Well, it's not just any twist of fate. You're like the chosen one, like in Star Wars, man.
It's just
yes.
To be, you know.
Yes, it just happens to be arrested.
What do they call you? The Neverine?
No, that's Morrowind.
That's Morrowind. Oh, okay. They have names for you, like, you know.
Yes, they have a name for you. Yes. I don't remember what it is, though.
Like in Skyrim, you're the Dragonborn.
But you weren't the main guy in Oblivion. That's the thing that nobody... I mean, obviously I trust that, you know, you have a spoiler alert thing on this, so I'm not even bothered. But you're not even the main character in Oblivion.
Yeah, you're not the main character. You're just the dumb lackey that's running around to all these things for the main character.
At the end it is, but it's kind of forced.
No, they build up, what's his name?
Yeah,
Thomas or something? I don't know.
Yeah, they build up the bastard son of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Well, the whole game.
Yeah, I know. his what is the Order of the Blades, right? Take him up to the mountain or whatever.
I think it's just the Blades.
Yeah. Well, it's an order.
I think it's an order meant to A, fight dragons, B, protect the Emperor. And they did the first one real well, and then the second one not so much.
Yeah. Well, they don't do a very good job.
They do a terrible job.
This Emperor, keep in mind, has been banished to another dimension, imprisoned in a giant crystal.
Not the same Emperor.
Impersonated by an evil sorcerer.
Yeah, it's Uriel from the 7.
So basically, he's the Princess Peach of the Elder Scrolls.
Until he dies. Yeah.
Until he actually gets whacked.
And you could clearly save him. Like, you stand right in front
I know,
of him and he
that
comes
always
out
bothers
of the
me.
wall. Like, you could kill the guy.
Literally, like, his assassin comes out of the
We
wall.
know exactly
and
where he comes
stands
in.
there for like a solid 10 seconds and then kills the Emperor. You could totally stop him.
But you don't.
You choose to stand aside with disdain playing your game.
Because Oblivion apparently uses the Florida Stand Your Ground law. Because that's the way Oblivion rolls, you see. Like, I could stop this king from being killed, but I'm not going to. Because I could get sued in court.
Or, well, hey man, how am I going to become the Emperor if he doesn't die first?
But then one of the really neat little hidden gems in Oblivion is the arena quest, side quest, which is essentially the first game.
Yeah.
Arena. Even the posters throughout Cyrodiil for the Imperial Arena is just the box art from Elder Scrolls Arena. It's pretty cool.
I'm looking at the box art for Oblivion, and it makes me think of, like, the cover to a Book of Mist.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what you think. The first thing I saw was the Eye of Sauron.
Okay. Okay, I can give you that. I went one direction.
I was like, oh, we're one of those games.
So I'm looking at some of the cast for Oblivion. It's Patrick Stewart, Linda Carter, Sean Bean, Terrence Stamp, Wes Johnson. I'm like, oh, did all these people have the same time frame off to record this game?
The coin that came with the special edition was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. You got a septum.
Yeah.
With the collector's edition. And a map. No, I think you got the map with every edition.
Yeah, you get a map with every one of those games. I have them up at work.
Naturally, this game was universally acclaimed, up and down.
The Shivering Isles, yeah.
The graphics are like the faces. It's just the ugliest fantasy world you've ever. Everyone's horribly disfigured.
Yeah, if you want to see some quality graphics.
Look up Battlespire.
Yeah, I mean, like. They were trying to go for the realistic, which I'm fine with, but they kind of hit the uncanny valley. Yeah. And by hit, I mean like drove off the cliff into a fiery chasm of it.
I mean, just looking at a picture of Uriel Septim,
he's hideous.
He's hideous.
It's not just that he's old; he's got some sort of like swollen face disorder.
It's like his eyes are like it's like his whole middle of his face.
He's having a severe allergic reaction.
He ate too much shellfish.
He's just been hit with like a rolling pin right in the middle of his face.
Hence, the modding community to the rescue.
To the rescue.
It's like, we need to fix up your face. It's kind of a bunch of your face fell off, and nobody likes you. I'm taking a look at some of the images now, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
The graphics are generally good, but something with the faces, I don't understand.
The facial engine they have is. Ugh.
He kind of
looks Morrowind too. Just you're hideous.
He kind of looks like Andrew Lloyd Webber, actually. It's Lord Froggy, but
I think Bethesda's had a long-running problem with faces. If you play like Fallout is another example where everyone is just horribly ugly.
Yeah, you have to spend a good half hour in Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout to have the faces not look like utter trash.
Yeah,
And you couldn't even have like a beard in Oblivion. You could just have a really heavy 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, it was
Any particular reason why? What was this? The no facial hair?
Yeah, it's like the Mafia, you know.
Everybody.
Not that facial. It was just all you could do was like around your nose and your cheeks. It would get like shaded in. It would become like dark. That's all.
It wasn't even like actual like hair follicles. It was just literally just like pencil mascara on your chin.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like someone just rubbed shit on your face.
Like charcoal.
Even the horses had 5 o'clock.
It's a good amount of time on the world and the lore and the quests, and then like 5 days before we're supposed to come out, they're like, shit, they don't have faces.
Hey, you know, she's an unfortunate-looking woman.
Oops. According to Microsoft, they said that Oblivion's game world is approximately 16 square miles.
I don't buy that.
Probably not.
I mean, if you count like all
Where
of the little and all
or the ocean.
No, I'm talking like all of the little Oblivion gates that you go into.
Oh, maybe.
Like if you add file all those
and all the caves and all.
Maybe then, maybe.
Yeah.
Apparently, they tweaked the AI for Oblivion. They actually made your NPCs a bit smarter.
I remember when this was coming out, and they
really played it up.
Bethesda really has a bit of a Peter Molyneux syndrome, where they'll be like, "Oh, the NPCs are going to live their own lives and go and do their own things, and if you drop a sword in the street, you know they might pick it up." And they
didn't.
They did not do any of that.
They followed the same script.
They pretty much just walked back and forth until...
I think it just gave them an excuse because, like, it was a little buggy, so if you put shit in things that weren't in your own house, they could just disappear after a while.
Oh, it's not a bug. Somebody stole your crap!
They have how Oblivion handles its inventory management is also weird, too. Yeah. Because, like, this has been mentioned, like, you have to own the property. And even then, sometimes if you own it, it'll disappear. So the only way you could actually store your equipment was to literally just drop it on the floor.
You can also store your stuff if you join the arena. Down there, I always kept my stuff. No, not on a chest, just like on the floor. Like he's saying, because it's just a big room. Yeah. It's got weapon racks and crap, and you can you can pick up your thing and put it on the rack with the jerky fizz,
well, that still happens,
I'm just saying, like, you spend a half hour trying to set your pot right on the table.
Oh, I used to do that obsessively in Morrowind. I would have, like, in what's that house in Balmora that you have to kill, like, the whole group of people. That's kind of hard. You have to wait a few levels until you do it, and they have these really
It's a guild. It's not a house. It's a guild.
It's the corner club, the Niece's corner club that you have to kill everybody in.
The Thieves Guild hires.
Yeah, and then there's this house that you get afterwards, and it has these really big tables. So I would obsessively line up like my soul gems and everything that would be pretty. And like arrows, I would line up like glass arrows next to my.
And then you bump into it once, and everything just goes flying all over the place.
Yeah, you mess one thing up.
It's like fuck it.
Everybody would put the green pot in the clay bowl. Yeah.
It's great pot and gray bowl. Get it right. Throw everything everywhere.
That'll happen.
That's a great game.
Yep.
Yeah. The physics engine in Oblivion and Skyrim. It's also pretty special.
It's very special.
People can just randomly start flying in one direction.
Having recorded an episode of downloadable content with Brian about Silent Hill and now recording this one, I'm coming to believe that this podcast is nothing but listing the laundry list of everything that's wrong with particular games.
Well, that's one of the joys of the anniversary episodes, is to reminisce and go, oh yeah, I love this, but this thing really fucking sucked. And
crazy.
And you couldn't, like, you can't, I don't know why they took it out, but in Morrowind, you would have really useful spells like Mark and Recall and Levitate.
Yeah.
And those were incredibly useful. And whatever, they took those out of the game. And it also, the ability to levitate would allow you to get yourself out of glitches better.
Yeah, more
like, so if if you levitated yourself in Morrowind because you got stuck on a wall or a rock or something, you could get yourself out of it, or you had a better likelihood. Now,
if I remember correctly, the reason they took out Mark and Recall and Levitate was
because of the fast travel.
Was a gameplay-based decision, because you could imagine being able to mark something in an Oblivion gate and then trying to recall there, or the ability to levitate would seriously screw up a lot of the quests in the city.
Levitate and jump over a bunch of puzzles and crap like that.
And I mean,
Well, in Morrowind, they designed whatever that mushroom wizard town is.
Mushroom wizard town. It was one of the great families.
Yeah, not Halalu.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. No, I don't think so either. But Redoran? No, not that either. But I remember one of the wizard's tower. In order to complete a quest, you couldn't do it without levitating because of the way the building was designed.
Yeah, well,
it was directly up.
This is, I mean, with the bigger
and
graphics.
physics.
With the greater graphics and the physics, I mean, Levitate, Mark, and Recall would have been a problem. Would have been really hard to do.
It's in games like these, there's whatever character you play, there's certain things you become attached to. Like, I really, really, really love alchemy. And
I know, we all know.
And I really, really like, if you want to get some marshmallow and some salt rice and make some health potions, man.
Maggie doesn't even really go on quests or anything. She kind of just fulfills this female stereotype of just playing with different alchemy ingredients.
You want to blow shit up, man? You want to turn this into gold? How about we make some really crazy potions and get all sorts of fucked up?
Dude, I would make so much money. I don't even know. I have currently $500,000 of internet Skyrim monies on my character.
This potion here, man, this potion will restore your stamina, restore your health, but it is gonna lower your intelligence.
And it's gonna permanently damage your magic a little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit. That's dat skooma.
That sounds like alcohol to me.
But apparently no potion for erectile dysfunction. So you could do pretty much anything in any of the Elder Scrolls games except that. I mean, look at the marketing potential that Bethesda's wasting now.
Right. But I mean, Oblivion really gave you a sense of a really developed. It's a good middle ground between the complexity of Morrowind and what I feel is the just kind of like a hack and slash game that Skyrim is. If you look at the dungeons in Morrowind,
it's becoming simpler.
But if you look at the dungeons in Morrowind, they're these multi-level, incredibly complex dungeons with all these different paths, and when you beat the dungeon, you have to go back and get out.
Yeah.
Whereas in a game like Skyrim, most of the dungeons are straight lines, and there's an exit at the end of the dungeon, which doesn't make any sense.
Or bendy lines. Yeah, but still one line.
Why wouldn't you just go in the exit? Because that's where all the shit is. Why are we going in the other door?
Because the other door is buried in some mountain somewhere that is way the fuck up.
So they just don't show you the 3 months your character spends digging out the hole.
Exactly. Absolutely, exactly. That's how it works. I thought the
Oblivion games were very cool, though. That was a very cool mechanic.
Well, we haven't discussed Crazy Town Island.
Oh, the Shivering Isles.
Shivering Isles.
The 2 expansions for Oblivion, Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles.
Shivering Isles.
Knights of the Nine was a smaller one. Shivering Isles is what most people know of the expansion, and
give you a nice house.
Yeah. But Shivering Isles, if you want to see some real weird stuff, you go there.
The Chigalag.
Sheogorath,
the Chigalag.
Realm of the Mad God, right?
Yeah. He is quite literally the demonic prince of chaos.
Uh-huh.
And he's
and everything that you can imagine that goes with that happens.
Mm-hmm. He's one of the Daedric gods.
You gotta help him defeat the Chigalag, which is order.
Yeah. And then just to get in, you have to build that monster body part
that was
guy.
so cool. Yeah, and then you chose which door you went through, and that gave you a different ability for the rest.
Oh, that's so cool. And then you
well, you guys have fun recording the rest of this episode. I'm gonna go play Oblivion.
You close up. We're good.
Even in Skyrim, right? You can still get the what's the name of the staff?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Wabbajack.
The Wabbajack.
Oh,
The
that's
Wabbajack
fun.
that you can turn people into random enemies that you don't know what it's going to be, something that can kill you, or maybe it's just going to be a mud crab. You don't know.
Usually it's a goblin.
Or as I call the Wabbajack, the buck and a quarter staff.
Yeah. And people run around begging you to hit them with it.
Yeah.
That particular weapon in Skyrim has come very useful to me on some bosses. But anyway, it's like I turn you into a bunny rabbit.
I'll just walk past you now.
All right, but be that as it may, yeah, the Shivering Isles, as I'm seeing here, apparently it added just like a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah,
many more hours of playing, and the enemy that you the Daedric Prince.
Mm-hmm. He's not really an enemy. He's just insane.
No, you're working for him in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's
Imagine if you gave the Joker superpowers, and then take it from there. That's basically what he is.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can do that. You can just be like, all right, whatever. I'll help this deity, and just become friends with all the deities. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, those are some of the most interesting quests.
That was a lot of fun.
Those are the most interesting quests.
Yeah, going around to the different shrines.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, who do I have to kill? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Are you
Bring
gonna
a follower over here, kill him in front of the shrine. Okay.
There were some really surreal quests in Oblivion. Like, had the one where there was like the split town, right? And you had to decide which one to like. You basically had to kill. There was a town that was mirrored.
And you had to figure out which one's the real one.
No, not even necessarily which one's the real one. Which one do you want to keep? And then you kill everybody in the other half.
Yeah. There's also a quest, if memory serves, in Oblivion where you quite literally get like hypnotized, or like you start seeing things and you're killing what you think are enemies, and that actually ends up being like they're like civilians in a town or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just real. It's real
everybody
trippy.
looks like a guard or something.
Yeah.
You make it rain like some kind of animal too.
Well, just the transition, the initial transition when you sit and you get the greeting from the gatekeeper, the official gatekeeper, the wall dissolves into butterflies.
Yeah, that's the Shivering Isles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Apparently, Oblivion had some slight controversy, and by slight I mean exactly that. Apparently, originally the game was rated T.
Yeah.
And then it had to be changed to M because the ESRB found in-game content that wasn't part of the initial review.
It was the Dark Brotherhood quest line.
You're an assassin.
Well, no, it was the one. It was just the fact. I think you find I forget who it was, and like he has his cock and balls cut off. Let's just call it what it is. And like his tongue pulled out.
There's a lot of weird shit in these games.
It's a little, yeah.
In addition,
I'm a cannibal in Skyrim.
The reason why it was changed to an M though, because apparently that there is a file, if accessed by using an unauthorized third-party tool, allows the user to play the game with topless versions of female characters.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you punish somebody for something that's a mod?
All right, so the castration, the cutting out of the mouth, the slitting of the throat, we're fine with that. But a pair of boobies,
but no titties.
Yeah,
not in America. Not in America.
That was the rationale. It was not because of the castration. It was tits! Sound the alarm!
Oh, see, I was giving us more credit than we deserve. Yeah, I'm looking here.
Don't you know how Puritan we are? We can get away with Silent Hill Homecoming with enemies with attached vaginas and shared vaginas and blood, guts, and gore.
As long as the vagina is not naked in the right place.
Yeah, as long as it's not nice looking.
But tits and on a call Scotland Yard.
No, well, tits on the nurses. That's fine. You're just you're gonna get kids to develop a dead nurse fetish, but maybe. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. Who among us?
I mean, come on. We're all just Pyramid Head out to just rape mannequin.
Rape and pillage.
I just want to point out, I'm reading a walkthrough for this quest in Oblivion, which is not part of any expansion pack. It's in the base game, and it's a quest for Sheogorath, and I'll just hop in at this point. After getting the cheese, go outside and put the cheese in the cooking pot in front of the inn. Wait until the rats appear. Wait until Sheogorath congratulates the player and tells them to wait in the center of town and watch the sky. Suddenly the sky will turn red, and it will rain flaming dogs.
I just thought that was your average Chinese restaurant, but
right? Ooh.
I didn't say downloadable content was a politically correct podcast.
I hope not.
No. But yes, it had to be changed to an M rating because of the previously inaccessible tits. So.
That's so stupid.
So the ESRB...
there's so many better reasons to give it an M.
The ESRB reported that Bethesda would promptly notify all retailers of the change, issue stickers for retailers to affix on the product, and then Bethesda did comply, and it was used by some... the proceedings... inspired one California assemblyman to criticize the ESRB. However, by and large, the events passed by with little notice from the public or gaming media. So...
It caused a big clusterfuck when I was working at GameStop later, and people would ask, what's the difference between these two versions of Oblivion? Why is this one rated teen and why is this one rated mature?
It's just a sticker.
we had
a sticker, exactly. That's what's different.
We had to put it on.
This was released earlier. This was released later.
We had to do that because somebody found tits.
Somebody found hidden tits.
And kids would always grab the teen copy and bring it to their mom.
The hidden titty shrine hidden.
Be like, oh mom, look, it's rated teen. I swear.
Oh God, we are so Puritan. Right. Absolutely. All right.
It's hard to move on from a conversation like that, isn't it?
Titty shrine? Yeah.
Titty shrine.
So now that we've spent nearly 30 minutes on Oblivion, let's proceed to the game that I am finally familiar with. We move on to Skyrim, and it was released, and I like the little date play that Bethesda did. It was released on November 11th, 2011.
You think they planned that?
Yeah. Maybe just a touch. It was a worldwide release, all on Windows 360 and PS3 at the same time. And as is the case with all of the Elder Scrolls games, none of them are direct sequels. They all take place many, many generations after.
And I like that they usually take place in a different landmass, too.
Yes. And I finally jumped onto the Elder Scrolls bandwagon with this game because when this came out, whole chunks of my friends
just disappeared.
Would just vanish.
Went into hiding.
Yeah. By and large, when this game came out, for about a week, give or take, I'd say about a good week or so.
A week?
Well, okay. Let me finish.
I was shitting in a box in the corner.
Maggie,
for a week, most of your gaming friends would they would not be anywhere online, or you see them playing a Skyrim, or you see them on Steam and they'd be like, your friend is currently playing Skyrim, and you're like, hey, you want to come play League of Legends or...
No, leave me alone.
Can't talk about Skyrim.
Get up. Shut up, Skyrim.
Dude, shut the fuck up. You're still alive?
Yeah. And then afterwards, after that first week, they would say, OMG, Skyrim, best game ever, and then spend the next month playing it.
Yeah. OMG, and Skyrim, exclamation, 11D1, and,
Yeah, exclamation.
And, Maggie says, she spent, months shitting into a bucket. Suddenly she's Cartman from the WoW episode of South Park.
That is the first thing I thought of. I also imagined
bathroom.
I also imagine the Skyrim box with like a critical review, like I spent months shitting into a bucket. Game Informer.
Yeah, Amazon verified review from Maggie.
Verified purchase.
Verified purchase. I spent months shitting into a bucket. I have carpal tunnel from this.
People who bought Skyrim often buy a bucket.
For the nausea.
You see, like, buy Skyrim plus a bedpan.
Yeah.
Plus ointment, all for
Because you're not gonna move for weeks and kiss your job goodbye.
Antibiotic cream.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. Metamucil.
Well, Brian, this is one that you've played. So tell me about your character. What's your dude like? Or do you play as a girl?
I play as a girl because okay. I am playing as a high elf.
Because that'll show the patriarchy.
Well,
fuck your fascist beauty ideals.
Well, here's the serious reason. I don't play a whole lot of games that allow character customization, and I kind of wanted to finally play a game where I didn't have to play as the straight white guy for once.
The hulking brute.
You just wanted to try on different armor on those tits. Come on.
No.
You didn't want to play as the Chris Redfield again?
No, I really didn't. I had enough punching boulders. And fighting meat tornadoes in the form of Wesker. But
I mean, I'm kind of used to playing as a guy with Mike and I playing like the 2-player games all the time. Like Gears of War, I am.
Yeah, Maggie's always a woman, black, or Spanish. Like those.
I'm player 2.
So I play as a female high elf. But she does skill set. She uses 2-handed weapons because fuck shields. I love brute force.
I believe 2-handed weapons are to Skyrim only, or am I wrong on that?
I don't know.
They may have been in Oblivion. I don't remember.
I don't remember if 2-handed was a skill or if it was like long blade and short blade.
Yeah, you still had weapons that took up both hands, but I don't think it was a separate skill.
Yeah.
She loves her 2-handed weapons. I love going in with like hammers and axes. She also is incredibly proficient in archery and alchemy.
Cool.
So,
well, as you know, in case you weren't aware, Maggie loves alchemy.
I'm a little bit of a fan of that. I don't know if I mentioned that.
I make, tons of dangerous potions. Have I mentioned that?
Well, it's incredibly easy to make money off potions as well.
Absolutely.
And they're only half a pound each.
Can I just say that you guys sound like fucking meth dealers?
Fill out these forms.
My alchemy lab, bro.
Fill out these forms.
Yes, there's a gag agreement if you're walking into this room, but it's worth it. Let me tell you.
You walk into a potion shop. You're like, yeah, I'll take that potion to stop the sniffles. Give me your license.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm at the point in Skyrim. I think I'm like a level 69 or something. Ha ha ha.
Oh.
But really. And And, I'm so bored sometimes that I'll just walk into a potion shop and buy all their potion ingredients so that I can go make more potions.
I'm bored with this fighting. Why is all this war?
I can just imagine Maggie in her character walking through the fields of Skyrim, tapping her arm. Like, I need a fix!
Hey, man! I didn't want to get to the broom dungeon and not have any brooms. All right?
You gotta pick up everything.
I'm gonna pick up this stick because I might need it.
I might need it.
I'm gonna stab a Nord with it.
Hey, man! You can fit a lot in a chest.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, a surprising amount, an unbelievable amount. Some might say.
Here's the funny part. Now, this is Skyrim. Now, my personal experience. This is the first ever RPG I have ever played that has been this open. I've never played an RPG in which the main quest is irrelevant. So,
it's just a glorified side quest.
It's just a carrot on the end of a stick. You really don't need to pay attention to it.
So, when I picked up this game, this was a brand new experience for me, and the fact that basically after the first 30 minutes of the game, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just, at first, I didn't know what to do. I was like drunk with power. Like,
hence developing the dangerous obsession.
like
The
what?
life that the crippling life-consuming obsession.
And then I started, so there would be, I would be sitting on the couch, and 14 hours would go by,
Yep.
and for me, it'd be like, where'd the...
Well, with these games, you
I've
can't
only-
make any progress if you're not playing for at least 2 hours.
And 14 hours go by, and April's like, have you eaten?
Have you eaten yet?
What day is it?
Have you used the bathroom?
Did you shit in your bucket?
It was a box.
It was about... And, I'd play for...
Bathroom.
And that is when I realized the dangers of having a game that auto-saves seamlessly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
you need to be mindful of that.
because I have it set so that it auto-saves every 5 minutes because, this is a new experience for me. I'm walking into a dungeon, I'm probably dying every 5 minutes. So...
You can also save it yourself, though. I save obsessively.
Yeah,
Like-
I do too, but, 14 hours go by and it only feels like I've been sitting here for 30 minutes.
See, what you have to do is you have to autosave, but then you have to, whenever you enter a dungeon, you manually save it.
I do that anyway, because I remember from my JRPG playing, like, oh, shit's gonna happen. I should probably manually save it.
And sometimes I just save, because I play on the Xbox, so I'll just save sometimes if I put together a really cool set of armor and I want to look at it again. I don't know. Anybody else? No?
No, Maggie.
But also, usually when I do the manual save is when I look on the clock and be like, okay, when did I last get up? When did I last eat? When did I last use the bathroom? Have I been playing this game for more than 15 hours?
And it's, as I'm going through this game, there are some moments where I realize that you should have the ability that when you walk into a new town, just put your hands over your ears and go, la, 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 because I've never played a game in which you pick up 5 side quests just from hearing random snippets of dialogue amongst the villagers. I just wanted to upgrade my weapon.
I just wanted to buy some iron ingots and maybe a whetstone. I didn't want to hear about your damn
Why
dog.
don't you go and get your pickaxe and get it out of a mountain like a real man?
And now there's a dragon!
And then there's the dragon. God damn it!
Yeah, first,
Oh, it's an elder dragon.
Yeah, right.
They don't even drop that much.
Oh, good.
you know what I find hilarious though about Skyrim is that you're only allowed to carry a certain amount of stuff before you are overburdened, but yet you can carry 100,000 pieces of gold, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't weigh
Oh, yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, if you want to keep it realistic, that you can modify it relatively easily, so that your arrows, your coins, and something else that has no weight.
Keys.
Keys, I think it's the keys will have weight.
Vegas style.
And you realize very quickly that the fact that your gold doesn't weigh anything is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Anybody else have Jizargo as their companion? I need to talk about Jizargo. He is, so cool.
It's pretty cool. But judging by the dead air, I'm going to say no.
No, I don't know.
Did you know about companions?
Yes, I do.
Well, Jizargo's the only companion that will level up to a high enough level, because everybody else caps out.
We'll level up to a high enough level if you play the game obsessively and you need that kind of leveling. Other people can beat the game with other companions.
What are you talking? Why? There's no beating the game. There's no point in beating the
I was
game.
going to say,
You don't beat these
when you
games.
say main quest in Skyrim, the main quest, obviously everybody thinks of the dragon quest, and, obviously, but, to me, the main quest in that game was the Civil War, the Nords versus the Elves, and that was the coolest part to me. That was the part that stuck with me more than the whole dragon subplot. And, when I think of Skyrim, that's the first thing that comes to mind, which is just another thing that's great about these games.
Yeah, similarly, I think about the feud between the Stormcloaks and the Imperials. It's,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stormcloaks.
Okay.
I also really like the Mages Guild quests. They're interesting.
The moment I really fell in love with Skyrim, though, was the side quest where you pass out after drinking too much and you wake up on the other side of Skyrim, but in the time frame
Butt naked.
you propose to somebody, you wake up in a a shrine or something with this
It's
very
like a weekend in Vegas.
it's a very angry cleric looking at you because you went in and just ransacked the place before you passed out.
Yep.
And my first thought was, I only had 3 drinks.
You got slipped a roofie.
Apparently, I'm like, oh, there's date rape in Skyrim? All right.
Oh, yeah. Alive and well.
What else happened?
Apparently. Fun fact, guess who is the voice of the dragon Parthamax?
No idea.
No idea.
The same voice actor for Mario.
Really?
He's not dead?
Sounds dead. Oh, God.
Charles Martinet. Which I thought was funny. So now when I pick up Skyrim again, I'm going to get to that, and it's going to have a whole new meaning. Like, it's me, Parthanax. You know, it's a Parthanax.
Oh, wait. I have to do a brief tangent here, because I just have to say this, and Mike's going to roll his eyes audibly.
I already am. Audibly roll his eyes.
And
Rolls
you know,
eyes intensely.
You know, one of the add-ons with the things that are like a blatant H.P. Lovecraft analogy, and when you're in that other world and you're fighting all the squid men, I was so excited because as an enemy, this is the first time I think that they've ever done this. They actually drop knowledge. They drop scrolls and books and such because it's the Daedric. Is it like Hamora or something? I don't remember the name of the guy, but it's like the Daedric god of knowledge and like obsession with forbidden knowledge and whatnot. And so that's what the enemies drop. And I was so, again, over the moon with that.
Because you're a nerd.
Yeah, I'm a total nerd.
She's allowed to be. And, you know, shouting somebody off of a cliff is also immensely gratifying.
Of course.
The Thuum, honestly, I forget about those. I never use them.
I don't understand how you can forget about those.
I never use them.
The Thuum I typically use on bosses, but the one time I shouted somebody off of a cliff was by accident. I hit the wrong button. And
then you were like, oh, that's what that button does.
Because, you know, I was doing perfectly fine, just melee weapons. It was like a troll or something. I was doing fine. And I accidentally hit the shout button, and suddenly, Team Rocket's blasting! Team Rocket's blasting off again!
Up to high. Is that what you're talking about?
Probably. I don't remember where it was, but, you know, it was...
Poor guy teaches you the Thuum, and then you fucking immediately blow it up.
No. It was an enemy. It was not a good guy. It was an enemy. It was not on High Hrothgar or anything like that. That would have been funny, though. I shouted at Maven, hoping that it would kill her, but...
She just got pissed off.
Yeah, I'm like, your life bar is empty! How are you
No, you can't kill important NPCs anymore. They fixed that game-breaking bug by making them invincible.
It wasn't a bug.
Well...
It was, you know...
It caused you to break...
Game-breaking feature!
Yeah, game-breaking feature.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Yawn.
That'll happen. But, you know, I think I own several pieces of property now in the game.
Oh, yeah.
I am...
All the property.
I
am married.
Mm-hmm. I married the blacksmith from Riften.
Where did I marry... Solitude.
Is that a different game?
Riften.
No, Riften's in Skyrim.
It is. Okay. That's the Thieves Guild town, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I married the blacksmith from that town because I thought he was nice.
It was like there was a bit of a learning curve, though, for me, because I had to figure out what buttons did what. And, you know, I accidentally wound up in jail because instead of, you know, talking, I punched like a prison guard or something. I'm like, oh, fuck, fine.
The old I meant to talk to you excuse.
Yeah.
Or like the quick potion button.
Yeah. And then, of course, because the game trolls you, you sometimes get penalized for fast travel with a dragon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice, how do you do?
Well, it was like, after I became the Archmage, every time I went up there was always a fucking dragon. Like, if I wanted to play a dragon, that was
so annoying. Holy crap. Did you have it happen where it killed one of the shop NPCs?
No.
It happened to me where it killed I think it was a general store NPC.
Yeah.
And the dragon killed her on accident. I didn't realize it until it was like 3 hours later. And I was like, well, shit.
They didn't
guess I'm not buying anything from this town ever again.
NPC death is permanent.
Well, that's why you save obsessively.
I didn't realize that she was a shop NPC. I never bought from that shop.
Yeah.
Until I actually was like, oh, I need to buy some arrows. Let's go to the general store.
It's just a general store, It's not like it.
It's still
But again, this is the mage town where all they have is the general store, and everything else is all in the mage's town.
Well, no, I guess you would have to be in the Mages Guild, right, to do business with them. If you were in the Mages.
Just this guy,
Yeah, although I will admit, like, during my playthrough in Skyrim, like, eventually when I did become the Archmage while still teleporting around, I think over the course of me playing Skyrim, I think I littered the Mages Guild with like 15 dragon corpses.
Luckily, they disappear, though.
Yeah, but like
I'd be stacked up to the sky.
Yeah, but like the amount of times like I would teleport there and be like, okay, which door do I have to go in again? And all of a sudden I start hearing the da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
all right, I have to fight a dragon.
All right, god damn it! All right, where are you? All right, let me dragon shot at you to drain your armor. I'm going to shoot you with 3 arrows. Now you're dead.
Land already, Jesus.
One of those missions, one thing that did glitch on me was...
A couple times.
Well, no, there's a couple different things that glitched, but something specifically that I remember related to the mages quests were whatever that one was where you had to kill all those little white floaty spirit things. Energy spirit things.
The energy balls from another dimension.
Yeah, and then you had to collect a certain amount of them, but some of them, when you killed them, they would be like floating in the middle of the air where you couldn't reach it.
Yeah.
Well, but that happens. I mean, it was such a massive game with so much content. I can't really get mad at them for having glitches.
It's not perfect!
I know. So sorry, Mike. But, because I'd never played any RPG like this, I'm used to, my NPCs, staying there. Welcome to Baron. Things like that. So I did not know that NPC death was permanent in this game until the first town in Skyrim where you have to go meet the Jarl. I forget, was it Whiterun? Was that the first Whiterun?
Yes.
And so I'm, I have, I do all the shit there, and I get my house Carl. And she's tagging along with me, and we're going through dungeons and whatnot, and she dies, and I'm like, all right, well, I've got potions here, and no Phoenix down, no worky.
Well, you could bring her back to life as a zombie for a little while.
As a zombie.
Yeah, any necromancy, anyone? Hey.
It's illegal.
Fill out these forms. In triplicate. But no, I went, they don't get up again. They're fuck.
Another reason for saving obsessively. I would never let... Zargos died.
Maggie spends more time saving the game than she actually is playing it.
No, I spend more time making potions than anything. Come on.
Well, you like alchemy?
Well, come on in. I've got something for you.
I've got a little something. I just mixed it up. You want to try it?
Maggie would strike me. I can only imagine her character kind of like as the merchant from Resident Evil 4. Got a collection of good things on sale, stranger. What are you buying? Just with the trench coat and everything, and
Oh yeah.
I'll buy it at a high price.
I'm gonna rip you off something good.
That dude had a hell of a coat, though, right?
He did.
A lot of pockets.
He did for all of that, and Maggie she's like the Skyrim druggist. It's a
yes, that's very much how
I kind of play. I play like this goth girl, Bosmer, not Bosmer. Is it a Bosmer?
No, it's Breton.
Breton's the one with that get the magic bonus.
Yeah.
I always choose Breton. And then I play currently light armor, two weapons, dual wielding. With a lot of necromancy, summoning. I like to summon a Daedric Lord to help me fight, and obviously alchemy and sneak and pickpocket and stuff like that.
So we have the 3 add-ons for Skyrim.
Yeah.
We have
really one word though.
We have Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn.
Dragonborn was awesome to go back to Vardenfell, like Maggie was talking about earlier, and just go back and see this place that you spend so many hours in, and it's back.
And it's completely different.
But it's got this. They play the same music, and it has all the extra alchemy crap.
Like I said,
it was cool.
It was really fucking awesome.
I didn't really like the Dawn Guard expansion that much.
Neither did I. I actually chose not to continue in it because I heard that it could be game breaking if you are too high of a level, which was going to be my situation when you start it. Because then when the vampire lords start spawning, if they would kill all the NPCs in the town before you could do anything. So I just chose not to do that.
They would depopulate the country if you started it at too high a level.
I started it and then just stopped it. I just stopped continuing. But the Dragonborn with whatever that Daedric Lord is, obviously I could look it up, but I'm too lazy. That was so cool. Obviously, who loves Lovecraftian mythology? It's great, right?
It is.
So
it is, and Bethesda has announced that they're pretty much done with Skyrim, so they have moved on to other things.
Fallout! Please, Fallout!
It would be nice if the open world MMO that they created was actually what they said it was going to be.
It's it's kind of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Elder Scrolls Online went live a couple of months ago. It hasn't seen a console release yet, but from initial reports, it's kind of
Yeah, it's a WoW clone, kind of.
It suffers from the same thing that Knights of the Old Republic suffered from when it first came out. It's a formula that doesn't necessarily always transfer so well. And to make an Elder Scrolls MMO, for it to be Elder Scrolls, the lore and the world isn't all of the draw. It's the gameplay, and it's hard to replicate that in an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, especially with something that is just so wide open like that.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of compromise because, I could kind of see it. Whoa, sorry about that. I could kind of see it as a Final Fantasy XI, type thing with instances. That would probably work. But the combat, man, that Elder Scrolls combat is,
it's
the main
hard
draw.
to do in that kind of game.
Yeah, you can't. It's really difficult to do it with so many people.
And then you have the couple of other spin-offs that we didn't mention. Redguard.
Prince of Elder Scrolls, pretty much.
Prince of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I played that game. It was not that riveting of a game. It was a adventure platformer game.
And then Travels.
Those were for smartphones when smartphones were new. You had to be fancy to have those games.
Ooh, and how much resources did those take up?
I know, right?
Well, Brian, I mean, talking about all these games, I can honestly recommend, as if you can look past older graphics, which I think you can.
I can, yes.
And loading times that are a little painful.
They're not even bad anymore.
No, on the computer, it's really not that bad. I would definitely recommend starting with Morrowind and also playing Oblivion.
I definitely want to go back to at least Oblivion. Skyrim, though, I have to say, though, Skyrim is one of those games where I'm very glad that it's set up the way it is, because I usually, when I start an RPG, I like to not go for long periods of time and not play it, because I'll forget what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Especially in a JRPG.
Well, that doesn't really matter in Elder Scrolls.
Yes, and that's kind of one of the things I like about it, is that I don't have, I can't play Skyrim during the semester because then homework's not getting done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, give me my bedpan and my and my my ready-made crap food, and I'm just gonna settle in.
Ordering pizza again.
Can I just say there were a lot more bedpan and pooping in buckets jokes in this episode.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be sexier.
Yeah, it really turned into a more fecal-related episode.
The episode's not over yet. There's still time. There's still time. I mean, we had Maggie and her moist panties for.
Yeah, and we started off well, but then quickly the panties were moist from another week. not so fun.
Not so fun there. It became clinical. I don't know. It's I don't know what the hell.
You need more fiber in your diet.
Well, now, come on, guys. This is the twist ending. I've actually been doing this whole podcast conversation with you naked.
Well, you
tweaking my nipples occasionally.
Can I say that as someone who's sitting next to you, you have a serious skin condition.
No, that was the nipple tweaking.
That looks like a shirt to me, but okay.
It's the giant head from Silent Hill 4.
It's the internet. They don't know.
That's a serious skin condition you have.
It's called You're Wearing Cotton. And it'll be removed upon the conclusion of this episode. It's downloadable content after dark.
That's the spin-off show.
That's
later, Brian.
that will not make it to iTunes.
They probably wouldn't allow it.
No, one of the favorite lines that is said here is, "We'll fix this in post."
So it wasn't fixed.
This episode, which is now should be running like almost 2 hours long, I'm sure will only actually be like a half hour.
No, not completely.
It'll be an hour and a half at most.
So let's wind this down a bit here. Now that we're just going, we're just trying to ramp up the rating here.
Fuck, shit, pussy.
Cock and balls.
There you go, cock and balls.
Suddenly, this is that scene from the movie The King's Speech where she just starts screaming and cursing and everything.
Tourette's.
Yeah, basically. So, because of the long development time that it takes between Elder Scrolls games, I don't think we're getting one for a while yet. Do you think?
10 years, man.
Do you? Here's a question: Do you think that we're going to get another major console or PC Elder Scrolls like on PS4 or Xbox One?
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
Yes.
The game system cycle is like 10 years, isn't it?
It's longer now than it was.
Yeah, it used to be like 5-6 years between consoles, but PS3 and Xbox 360, they're actually still going. They're not dead.
Yeah.
No, they're not dead.
Yeah, the quality, the graphics can only increase so much,
Well, no, but what he's saying is that, like, will we see a big AAA Elder Scrolls title for this console generation? And I think most definitely you're going to see it later. I would be severely surprised if whatever, Todd Howard has his slaves in Korea working on right now is another Elder Scrolls game. My gut and my heart tell me it's a Fallout 4, which I would love.
And your erection.
And my erection also tells me it's Fallout 4. But, I think after that, you'll probably see them return to Elder Scrolls after they...
And tease us for years.
Yeah, but after they release, like...
Mercilessly.
Games that they didn't make, but they distribute. Like
it wouldn't surprise me greatly if we end up seeing at E3 next year them do a trailer for Fallout 4, and then probably another year or two down the line, them do the next Elder Scrolls game.
Or at least start teasing us about it.
Yeah, or at least teasing us about it.
They teased us for what? The trailer for Skyrim came out like almost 2 years before the game came out.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a great trailer, man. Come on.
It was 5 years between Oblivion and Skyrim, so we might start seeing in another year or two maybe a little cock tease for.
You've seen that trailer, right, Brian?
I have.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dragonborn,
like it just playing it again reminds me of how fucking excited I was.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly titillating stuff.
It's titillating.
Dovahkiin.
And I got to see that particular song, Dragonborn, performed live. That was that was great fun.
Cool.
That was great fun. All right, so Bethesda, keep doing what you're doing because you're
doing it right.
The engine needs
you're doing it right. That's
the only thing I want to see out of Bethesda is the return of the middle armor class.
Yeah,
but Bethesda,
I'd really like to match. Be able to mismatch my armor too.
Yeah.
You're in a much better position with the Elder Scrolls than Konami is with Silent Hill. Let's just end it on that. So, With that said, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts on this episode or any other episode of Downloadable Content, once again, you can get a hold of us, facebook.com/dlcontent, Twitter at dlcontent, Tumblr at dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, email at dlcontent1@gmail.com, and as always, all episodes can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. So it remains for me to thank Ron, Mike, and Maggie. Once again, congratulations, Ron, on your 50th episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for being essentially my right-hand man in nearly 4 years of downloadable content. So here's to another 50 more.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us. Hopefully all of you will come back in a future episode. I hope you had a blast. Maggie certainly sounds like she had a blast.
Well, apparently I learned some things about my wife that I never knew.
And you've only been together for, what, a decade at least?
Yeah,
At least.
Well, at least.
You know, who's counting?
At least, because...
Seems like forever.
Well, you would...
You're stuck with me.
You're stuck here! All right, everyone. I'm Brian. Have a good one.
Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the Dragonborn comes with a voice wielding power of the ancient Lord Art. Believe, the Dragonborn comes. It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, the Dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed and the legend yet grows. You'll know the Dragonborns come. Arfinor och Pargan, Fudnos Hansing Grossan, Dovakin, Fahim, Kogan Mundra. Our hero claims a warrior's heart. I tell you, the Dragonborn comes with a voice wielding power of the ancient Lord Art. Believe the Dragonborn comes. It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim's foes. Beware, the Dragonborn comes. Arfinor och Pargan, Fudnos Hansing Grossan, Dovakin, Fahim.